At some point in these frenetic 70s, when pop music can incorporate profanity, war paint, and simulated executions on stage, there was bound to be a reaction. That reaction has come courtesy of two singing sisters from small-town Quebec. Their names don't mean much in Canada, but they're already stars in Europe. Kate and Anna McGarrigle are not what you'd expect rock music stars to be. As you'll see, they're very ordinary, and what's different about them is that they want to stay that way. Early on, they rejected the Hollywood star-making machinery and stayed with gumboots rather than lame. And as it turns out, that's exactly what audiences want. Like Jimmy Carter and his cardigan, ordinariness and honesty are in, and that's what these two singing sisters are all about. Audiences tired of glitter decadence and the noise of heavy rock are carried away with the delicate quality of the McGarrigles' music and feel drawn in to the friendly sing-along on stage. That's Anna singing and Kate on piano. Critics praise them with words like quaint and charming.
Amen. Thank you.
It's certainly not dry ice or Vegas dazzle, but sellout crowds like this one love the low-key, no charisma, take us as we are McGarrigles. Suddenly the time has come for their folky family act. Have you been surprised by your success? You've had rave reviews in Britain and the U.S. How have you felt about that?
Yes, very surprised. Well, I mean, for so many years, at least I always thought I was just a normal sort of person living at home, washing the dishes, which I still do once a week. And making the bed and going to the laundromat and vacuuming and that. And then suddenly you also have to sort of be an artiste.
Some say a heart is just like wheel.
Before she was an artiste, Anna took office jobs and wrote songs in her spare time. One of those songs, Heart Like a Wheel, found its way to Linda Ronstadt, who made it the title song of her million-selling album. Then Kate and Anna made a record, which went nowhere, until out of the blue, British critics discovered it, a tour was organized, and the British love affair with the McGarrigles was on. Melody Maker, top rag in the British pop press, and several U.S. critics voted their record Album of the Year for '76. This year, there's another album and a second European tour, with the British press extolling the virtues of the McGarrigles.
Give me your hand for the parting touch. Fare thee well and thanks a lot. I know that we promised to keep in touch, but you and I know that we both forgot. Oh, we come a long way since we last shook hands. Still got a long way to go. Couldn't see the flowers when we last shook hands. Couldn't see the flowers on account of the snow.
The McGarrigles are launched on the road to celebrity. But if that means stardom's trappings, Kate and Anna are sure they don't want to travel that route. They're going to do it their own way, and back in Canada for their Toronto debut, their eager record company directs the limo and the welcoming party to the railway station. Warner's stars don't usually travel coach class on the train. When Warner's first signed them, they moved in with new image heavy artillery. Kate and Anna would have none of it. A new backup group. They said no. A wardrobe created for them by a celebrity designer. No thanks. A promotional tour? Not possible. Up-and-coming stars don't get pregnant, but Kate was, and the baby took priority.
We come a long way since we last shook hands. Still got a long way to go. Couldn't see the flowers when we last shook hands. Couldn't see the flowers on account of the snow. What did you do with your burden and your cross?
I'm actually physically feeling the heat of your newfound success. And then people jump on you, and Playboy magazine jumps on you, and Melody Maker jumps on you, and everybody wants you, and you're hot, and everybody wants everything from you. And you almost can't live up to it. And there's so much hype going for you that you get lost. Do you feel any of that? Or?
Beginning, I started to feel that way in England. It's what Oscar Wilde coined the 9-day wonder. Popular for 9 days, and then
growing up in Quebec and totally bilingual, Kate and Anna write songs with equal ease in English and French. You'd think they'd be the ideal bilingual Canadian stars, But until their overseas success, they were largely unknown in English Canada, and they weren't French enough for the closed Quebec music scene. Peggy Colston of CHOM Radio, Montreal.
They can't break as part of the French-Canadian music scene, so that now they're going to have to break from outside. You know, Quebec is the only place in Canada which allows stars to break from within Canada. The rest of Canada, you always seem to have to leave Canada and then come back.
Do you have any records by Kate and Anna McGarrigle?
Kate can't find her records in hometown Montreal. Content to remain as they are, the sisters are amused by suggestions that they should slick up their image.
This is a nice shawl. I bought this in Ireland. Some nights we really like to dress up. I mean, it might not be called dressed up by some people's standards, but we consider it sort of, I don't know, dressed up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have more time than others.
The photographs of us in Manchester last year at a folk festival. We had different colored skirts on and shoes like these espadrilles and different. And we thought we were dressed up, I think.
But they, when they reviewed us in New Musical Express over in London, they said we looked like a bunch of hillbillies. But to them, we looked like hillbillies.
The reason why we
thought
like
we looked
hillbillies
very stylish
because there was.
Kate and Anna are not just two more folkies. Critics say what makes them different is their lyrics, the honest and unaffected way in which they write about their family, lovers, friends, and the humdrum routine of daily life in Montreal, where they live just a block from one another. It's a somewhat disorganized existence for Kate, who is separated from her husband and looks after two small children in this sparse Montreal walk-up. Their songs share experiences common to us all. Hommage à grungy celebrates simply being grungy after a tough day's work, throwing off the work clothes, having a glass of wine, and taking a good book to bed. Another song tells of the charmed life of the firstborn son, whose every bruise is kissed. Another remembers the pain of a failing marriage. Audiences love the way the McGarrigle songs invite the listener into their lives. Kate and Anna's act can be amateur, and critics like Jeffrey Stokes of the Village Voice, who traveled from New York to catch them, say this familial sloppiness should be smartened up.
The stage performance is familial, sloppy, warm-hearted, gummy, and may not make it in a time when one is used to dry ice and proper rhythms.
Your album has gotten raves, but your performances, your live performances, have been knocked as unprofessional. How do you react to that?
Well, it's true. We are certainly unprofessional. But I think we also don't want to fall into one of these things where we would get a musical director and do exactly what he told us to do. I mean, it would really be boring then.
No, that's not in tune either. I mean, these aren't in tune. You guys are kind of in
Music has always been a part of their lives. They really care about the way they and their band sound, and they're determined to keep control of that. They're all accomplished on their motley collection of folky instruments, including the recorder and button accordion, not often seen on the concert stage. McGarrigle rehearsals are a family affair and fun. So much for Warner Brothers' attempt to impose a new gloss. Kate and Anna play with the musician friends they've grown up with, an unlikely group including 2 PhDs and a newspaper reporter. They've known each other for over 15 years, and their stage act is a family sing-along. Kate and Anna grew up in the Quebec village of Saint-Sauveur-des-Monts. The nuns at the village school gave them their early musical training. They often visit their widowed mother, who still lives here. Their father was disabled in the war, and income was pretty well limited to a small disability pension. Still, to the McGarrigles, music was more important than money.
My father would pick up strange instruments. Had this huge piano accordion.
Yeah, auto harp,
Zithers. He would just pick them up in junk stores. And we would, so some of them were actually good, some of them better than others. And we were allowed to play with them.
As long as I could hear you sing, I didn't mind.
You knew we were keeping out of trouble.
No, I knew. No, you were giving me. You were giving me pleasure.
And then there was the Mission Barrel, repository of hand-me-downs.
This was second-hand clothes that people used to give me.
I think the worst clothes that we used to get out of the Mission Barrels were after our stockings. We had to wear long stockings to school. And after the stockings would have so many holes in the heels, and my mother darning them so often. She'd eventually cut the feet off, and we'd have to wear them with knee socks. And inevitably, you get your feet wet going to school, and the nuns would say, "Take off your knee socks." We go, "Oh, no, massa." "Why not?" "Because there are no feet in my stockings." God, we were poor.
They are good musicians, but they're an exception in an age when musical success often means playing on stage with snakes, smoke, and sequins. They believe they'll find a middle way between Hollywood hype and the parlor sing-along.
I wanna kiss you till my mouth gets numb. I wanna